The night shattered when I found the letter on my doorstep. Its edges burned as if someone wanted it destroyed, but wanted me to see it first. My chest tightened as I read his words, cold and final. He had left, turning his back when I needed him most. I whispered, "You thought you could vanish, Daniel, but ghosts don't disappear, they follow." My breath trembled, rage mixing with heartbreak, as I crushed the paper in my fist. The house felt colder, the silence heavier. I could almost hear his voice, his promises, the lies he wrapped me in. My eyes burned, but I swore aloud, "You won't walk away clean. I'll carve your betrayal into your skin until you choke on regret." Morning came cruelly, the sun spilling across my room like an intruder. My head throbbed with restless thoughts of him, of how easily he walked away. I muttered, "You thought I'd crumble, Daniel. You thought wrong." The bed beside me was empty, a void where he once lay, his scent already fading. I pressed my hand against the cold sheets, remembering warmth replaced by absence. My neighbor knocked softly, asking, "Are you all right?" I forced my voice steady, "I'm fine." But my heart screamed otherwise. I stared at the door and whispered, "You broke me once, but now I'll break you better." I walked through the crowded market, the noise a blur of voices and footsteps, but all I saw was his shadow everywhere. A vendor called, "Fresh fruit, miss," but I brushed past. My thoughts clawed at me. Daniel had abandoned me when I needed him most, and every face reminded me of his betrayal. I whispered, "He thought I'd vanish, but I'll rise sharper." An old woman tugged at my arm and said, "Don't let ghosts own you." I met her eyes and replied, "They already do, until I bury them in him." Her gaze lingered, pity mixing with fear, but I walked on. That evening, I returned to the alley where he first promised forever. The walls still smelled of smoke and iron, a cruel echo of words that had meant nothing. I whispered, "Here you swore, here you lied." My fingers traced the brick where his hand once pressed mine, heat replaced by cold stone. A boy passing by asked, "Waiting for someone?" I forced a bitter smile. "No, I'm waiting to end someone." The child ran, his laughter fading into the street. Alone again, I pressed my forehead to the wall and said, "Your betrayal built my fire, and fire burns everything it touches." By night I stood in the graveyard, the stones wet from fresh rain, the earth heavy with silence. I whispered to the graves, "You know what it is to be abandoned, to be forgotten." My fingers traced names worn smooth by time. Daniel thought I was weak, that I'd bow to his leaving. He doesn't know I was made in this soil, stronger with every loss. Thunder cracked above, cold drops rolling down my face. I tilted my head back and said, "I will be the storm that breaks him, the storm he never saw coming." The graves gave no answer, but I felt them listen. The cafe smelled of scorched beans and dust, the same cafe where Daniel once traced his finger across my palm and whispered promises of forever. I sat alone, staring at the empty chair, every scrape of cups and laughter mocking me. The waitress paused, glancing at the chair too. "Expecting someone?" she asked gently. I laughed bitterly. "Not anymore." I leaned forward, whispering into the silence as though he sat across from me. "You walked away, Daniel. You carved me hollow with your absence. You thought I'd collapse into dust." My reflection in the window met my gaze, sharper, colder, a stranger forged by betrayal. I pressed my palm flat on the wood, voice cracking. "Every broken promise will be the knife I put in your heart when I find you." The park was alive with laughter and sunlight, but all I heard was the echo of Daniel's voice saying forever beneath these same trees. My boots crushed fallen leaves as I stood near the fountain, fists clenched. "We dreamed here," I whispered, "and you bartered those dreams away like scraps." A stranger stopped, tilting his head. "You look like you're waiting for someone who won't come." I forced a thin smile. "I'm waiting to bury someone instead." He frowned. "That path leaves scars deeper than the one you carry." I turned away sharply. "Scars are proof I survived, and I'll give him scars deeper than mine." The man shook his head as I walked, whispering faintly, "Some wounds don't close, some wounds swallow." His words chased me, but my rage ran faster. Michael waited on my doorstep, his posture stiff, his eyes heavy with worry I didn't want. His voice cut the silence. "Sarah, you're burning yourself alive." I glared at him. Better burned than abandoned. He stepped closer, arms folding. "Daniel isn't worth this." My breath shook as I spat. He already took everything when he left me bleeding. What's left belongs to me, and I'll spend it breaking him. Michael's shoulders slumped. "This isn't you." My laugh came sharp. "You don't know me anymore." He made sure of that. He whispered, almost pleading, "Revenge is a grave you dig for two." I stepped past him, voice like stone. "Then let the earth drink us both. I don't care so long as he drowns first." Night swallowed the room as I spread Daniel's letters across the table, my hands trembling as I traced the curves of words that once promised forever. "You lied with ink and breath," I whispered, and I swallowed it like wine. My rage surged, and I struck a match. The letters curled, fire devouring them with greedy tongues. Michael burst in, voice shaking. "Sarah, stop this madness." My eyes never left the flames. "I'm burning him out of me, line by line." He grabbed my arm, but I tore free, the fire's glow painting my face in sharp fury. His promises were poison, and fire is my cure. The crackle of the flames drowned his protests as I whispered, "This isn't an ending, Michael. This is my beginning." The storm slammed down as I stood beneath a broken lamppost, rain soaking me through. Michael's voice shouted over the thunder, "Sarah, listen to me. This isn't who you are." I stared into the storm, whispering, "This is exactly who I am now. He made me this." Michael's hands trembled as he reached for me. "Revenge will leave nothing but ashes." I turned, lightning flashing across my face. "He left me ashes the day he abandoned me. I'm just giving them back." Michael's face twisted with despair. "If you do this, you'll lose yourself completely." I smiled bitterly, voice shocked. "I lost myself the night he left. What stands here now is what will destroy him. Redemption is for saints, Michael. But I'm no saint, I'm reckoning." The bar reeked of smoke and spilled whiskey, a place Daniel once brought me when he swore I'd never leave. Now it felt like a graveyard where promises came to rot. I walked in, boots thudding, heads turning with suspicion. The bartender froze, polishing a glass. "We don't want trouble." My voice cut through the noise. "Trouble's already here." A man at the counter smirked, his teeth yellow, eyes glinting. "You're hunting Daniel Hayes, aren't you?" My stomach twisted, but I nodded once. He leaned closer. "He left tabs unpaid. He left debts unpaid. He left women crying." My breath came sharp. "Then he leaves trails like blood in the snow." The man chuckled darkly. "Men like him eat revenge for breakfast." My hand clenched the bar, voice low. "Then, let him choke on me." The night air hit me like a slap, cold and sharp. Michael grabbed my arm hard enough to bruise. "Sarah, stop before you drown in this." I jerked free, rain dripping from my hair. "I'm already drowning, Michael. I just plan to take him under with me." His voice rose, breaking. "Daniel isn't worth your soul." My chest heaved. He already stole it when he walked away. Michael's face twisted with pain. "Then don't give him what's left." My lips trembled but hardened. "What's left is fire, and fire doesn't care who it consumes." He stepped closer, whispering, "You'll burn yourself." My laugh came bitter. Better burned than hollow. At least ashes prove I lived. Silence proves nothing. I found Evelyn waiting under the church steps, her scarred face half hidden in shadow. Her voice was iron. "You're dancing on the same blade I once bled on." My breath hitched, but my words came sharp. "He abandoned me. He deserves nothing but pain." She stepped closer, scar catching the lantern glow. "Daniel ruined you once. Don't let him ruin you twice." I snapped. "This isn't ruin. This is justice." Evelyn shook her head. "No, this is hunger, and hunger never stops." My fists shook as I hissed, "Then let it eat me, so long as he's the last thing it devours." Her silence cut deep, her eyes like a mirror. She whispered, "You think revenge makes you strong. It makes you hollow." And hollowness echoes forever. The enforcer appeared in the market, his bulk blocking the path like a wall. His voice rumbled low. "Daniel sends his regards." The words curdled my blood. "Then tell him his regards mean nothing." Ah. He smirked, stepping closer. "He said you'd come chasing like a dog too proud to see the leash." My fury boiled, my voice a hiss. "Then I'll be the bite that tears his throat." He leaned close, his breath foul. "He doesn't care enough to look back at you." My hand tightened into a fist. "Then I'll stand in his path until he can't look anywhere else but me." His laugh echoed. "You're bold, girl. Bold enough to die." My eyes narrowed. Bold enough to make him wish he had. That night, I scrawled Daniel's name across my mirror in ash, the letters jagged, my reflection fractured behind them. My breath fogged the glass. I whispered, "Every breath you take, Daniel, is a theft. Every smile you wear is stolen from me." Michael's voice drifted from the hallway, ragged. "Sarah, please, don't lose yourself to this." I pressed my forehead to the mirror. I already lost myself the night he left. My tears blurred the letters, but I didn't wipe them away. What's left of me is what will end him. Michael's knock was soft, desperate. "If you cross this line, you can't go back." I laughed through broken breath. "I'm not going back. I'm going through him." Evelyn's workshop reeked of iron and burnt oil, the sound of tools echoing like an old heartbeat. She didn't look up at first, only muttered, "So the fire's finally eaten you whole." I shot back, "Better fire than silence." She placed her wrench down slowly, her scar catching the lamplight. "You think Daniel abandoned you out of cruelty, but truth has a sharper edge. He didn't just walk away, he was pushed by men who owned debts carved in blood." My throat tightened. He still chose his breath over mine. She met my glare with tired eyes. "He gambled your love against their knives." I stepped closer, voice trembling. "Then I'll make him pay both debts, with interest." Evelyn whispered, "Be careful. Sometimes vengeance pays more than you owe." Michael stormed in, his voice sharp enough to slice the smoke. "Don't listen, Sarah. You don't need more fuel." I turned on him, my eyes burning. "You knew, didn't you?" He froze, silence louder than thunder. "You knew he didn't just walk away." Michael's jaw locked. "It doesn't change what he did." My voice cracked, heavy with rage. "It changes everything. He wasn't just cruel. He was coward and seller of hearts." Evelyn whispered, "Sometimes truth only wounds deeper." I snapped, "Then let it cut me. I've lived bleeding since he left." Michael stepped closer, pleading, "Don't let his weakness drag you lower." I laughed bitterly. "Lower is where I live now. The only way left is through him." The enforcer found me in the alley, rain dripping off his coat like oil. His smirk was carved from cruelty. "You want truth, girl? I'll feed it raw." My fists curled, voice shaking. "What do you know?" He leaned close, words sharp. "Daniel didn't just leave. He sold you to us, begged for one more breath. You were the coin." My chest hollowed. "No, you're lying." He chuckled. "Who do you think paid for his escape? You did. Your silence, your body, your life." My knees nearly buckled, but I forced myself steady. "Then I'll collect my debt in his screams." He sneered. "You'll never reach him alive." I whispered, "Then I'll die with his name bleeding from my hands." The church swallowed me, every candle guttering as though afraid of my rage. I staggered to the altar, rain dripping from my coat. "He sold me," I whispered into the silence. Evelyn stepped from the shadows, face pale. "Then you know the truth." Michael's voice cracked behind me. "No, Sarah, it can't be that simple. Lies twist to kill." I slammed my hands on the altar. He traded me like cheap goods. He bartered my soul to save his skin. Evelyn touched my shoulder, scarred fingers trembling. "Sometimes survival makes cowards of men who once swore love." I shoved her hand away. "No, it makes monsters. and he made me one too. The church seemed to groan as thunder rattled its bones. The graveyard roared with wind and lightning as I pressed my palm to a cold stone. My voice cracked, swallowed by rain. You bartered me, Daniel. You sold me like rusted steel. And now every storm will carry your name in ashes. Michael appeared, voice breaking. Sarah, don't let him hollow you out. You're more than his betrayal. I didn't turn. I'm nothing but his betrayal, carved deeper with every breath. Lightning split the sky, and I screamed into the storm. If survival makes him a coward, then vengeance will make me whole again. My tears mixed with rain as I whispered, the hunt begins at dawn, and the dawn will break on his ruin. The storm broke as I reached the abandoned warehouse where Daniel was hiding. My footsteps echoed, every creak of the floorboards a drumbeat of rage. His shadow flickered in the distance, and my throat burned with every breath. I shouted, "You thought you could vanish, Daniel, but ghosts find their way home." His voice answered, cold and sharp, "You were supposed to forget me." I stepped closer, trembling. "Forget you? You branded me with your betrayal. Every scar is your name." He tried to laugh, but it cracked. I did what I had to. My hand brushed my weapon. "And I'll do what you deserve." Daniel stepped into the dim light, his face older, more hollow than I remembered. He said, "You don't understand, Sarah. They would have killed me." My voice cut sharp. "So you let them kill me instead?" His eyes darted, searching for mercy that wasn't there. "I thought I could save you by leaving." My hands shook as I whispered, "You saved yourself and sold me like coin." He swallowed hard. I had no choice. My rage broke into bitter laughter. "Choice? You had 100. You chose betrayal, and now I choose vengeance." His silence was heavier than confession. Michael burst through the door, shouting, "Sarah, don't do this." My chest heaved, tears mixing with rain as I aimed my fury at Daniel. "He left me in ruins," I screamed. Michael stepped between us. "Then let his ruin end here. Don't bury yourself with him." Daniel sneered, "Listen to your savior, Sarah. He knows what I spared you from." My vision blurred with rage. "Spared me? You carved my life in half." Michael's voice cracked. "If you cross this line, you'll never come back." My voice dropped, cold and certain. "I don't want to come back. I want him to feel everything I felt." Evelyn arrived, her voice echoing. "Enough." Her scarred face hardened as she stepped forward. "Revenge doesn't free you, Sarah. It chains you deeper." I shouted. "I was chained the moment he walked away." Evelyn's eyes glistened. "Then break free, not by killing him, but by living without his shadow." Daniel muttered, "You can't live without me." My rage surged. "I already have. I just want you to feel what it is to lose everything." Evelyn whispered, "And once you do, what's left of you?" My throat tightened. What's left will still be more than he deserves. Lightning split the sky through the broken roof as I pressed closer to Daniel. He whispered, "End it, Sarah. You won't find peace." My hand trembled, weapon heavy. "Peace died the night you left me." His eyes softened for the first time. "Then kill me. At least it ends." Michael's voice shattered the silence. "If you kill him, you kill yourself too." My heart pounded, fury and grief battling in my chest. I whispered, "Then maybe that's the price." Daniel closed his eyes, resigned. My breath came ragged, my body shaking with the weight of choice as the storm roared. The storm passed, leaving silence so loud it crushed the room. My weapon still shook in my hand, Daniel's eyes locked on mine. He whispered, "You couldn't do it." I lowered the barrel slowly, voice breaking. "Not because you deserve mercy, but because I deserve more than your blood." Michael exhaled, his relief sharp. "Sarah, you're still here." My throat tightened. "Barely." Daniel sneered weakly. "Then you've already lost." I stepped back, trembling. "No, Daniel. I lost when you left. Now I'm just done bleeding for you." His smirk faltered And for the first time, fear cracked through his mask. Evelyn stepped closer, her voice steady as iron. "You've proven stronger than him, Sarah. Walk away." My chest heaved as I whispered, "Walking away doesn't erase the scars." Evelyn's eyes softened. "No, but it stops them from multiplying." Daniel scoffed. "She won't last without me." I laughed bitterly. "You still think you're the center of my story. You're just the wound that finally taught me to fight." Evelyn placed her scarred hand gently on my shoulder. "Revenge doesn't heal, but letting go leaves the knife out of your hands." My eyes burned with tears I refused to let fall. We left the warehouse, the air damp and heavy with smoke and rain. Michael walked beside me, silent until he finally whispered, "You scared me, Sarah." My voice cracked. I scared myself. He reached for my hand, hesitant. "You didn't let hate finish you. That matters." I shook my head. "It doesn't erase the rage." His gaze softened. "Maybe not, but it proves you're more than it." My breath shook as I whispered, "Daniel was my ruin, but he won't be my grave." For the first time, the words felt real, like survival, not just vengeance. At dawn I stood at the graves again, water dripping from branches, air sharp with silence. I whispered, "I carried your betrayal like a crown of thorns, Daniel, but I won't wear it forever." Michael stood behind me, watching but said nothing. My fingers traced names on the stones as I murmured, "Pain can be prison or weapon. I've decided it will be neither." A crow cawed in the distance, and the world seemed to breathe again. I whispered, "You abandoned me, Daniel, but I will abandon you too. I'll leave you behind in the shadows where you belong." Later, Evelyn joined me at the edge of town, the sun warming broken streets. She said quietly, "You chose the harder path." I nodded, whispering, "Because killing him would have been too easy." Her scarred face softened. "Strength isn't taking life. It's carrying yours after it's been shattered." I sighed, voice trembling. "I don't feel strong." She replied, "That's how I know you are." My gaze drifted to the horizon, words falling like a vow. He thought he left me powerless, but my power is surviving what he could not. Evelyn smiled faintly, and for the first time I felt free. The town felt quieter after the storm, though I knew it was only inside me that something had shifted. Michael walked with me through the square, his voice low. "You didn't destroy yourself to destroy him. That matters." I whispered, "It feels hollow though, like I buried rage instead of him." He looked at me carefully. "Maybe that's the victory you never thought you wanted." I stopped, staring at the empty windows where I once waited for Daniel. He abandoned me, but I won't abandon myself anymore. The silence that followed felt heavier than any scream, but it was mine. At the cafe again, I sat where I once dreamed of forever. The empty chair across from me was no longer a wound but a scar, sealed, though never forgotten. I whispered into the space, "You don't get to haunt me anymore, Daniel." The waitress paused, her eyes soft. "He's gone?" I nodded faintly. "Gone, but not forgiven." She set the cup down gently. "Sometimes survival is louder than forgiveness." I sipped the bitter coffee and murmured, then let him choke on silence, because silence is all he deserves now. For the first time I didn't feel hollow saying it. I found Evelyn outside the church, her scarred face turned toward the rising sun. She said softly, "So you chose life." I whispered, "I chose to stop letting him write my story." Evelyn nodded, her eyes narrowing against the light. "Then you've already won more than revenge ever could." My voice cracked. "It doesn't feel like winning." She touched my hand, her scars rough against my skin. "That's because real victories never feel like triumphs. They feel like survival." I breathed deep, for once without bitterness, and whispered, "Then survival will be my revenge." The graveyard was quiet when I returned, mist curling low. I laid a single flower against the stone and whispered, "You left me to rot, Daniel, but I bloomed in your absence." My voice trembled with both sorrow and strength. I wanted to bury you with rage, but rage only buried me. So I'll leave you here, nameless in my story, faceless in my future. The air carried no answer, only the faint rustle of leaves. For the first time, I felt the chains of his betrayal loosen. I whispered, I walk away, and you stay behind, forgot. I walk out of town beneath a sky streaked with crimson light, the horizon wide and waiting. Michael called faintly, where will you go? I didn't turn back. Anywhere he isn't. My steps echoed on the road, every stride a goodbye. I whispered, he abandoned me, but I will abandon his memory. That is my justice. The wind carried my words away, but they didn't need to return. For the first time, my chest felt lighter, though my scars remained. I knew they always would. But scars mean survival, and survival was the revenge he never expected me to claim.